So, today has been really beautiful.
We've heard some really beautiful stories. It's been a lot of beautiful release. Transformation, too.
And the last conversation that we had, we were talking about struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Or when we find ourselves in the midst of a storm. And one of the things that was key, and we touched on it, but I think today we got a chance to see it play out. And that is, there's always someone, something that intervenes. It may be a message from a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
It may be that one person out of 100 that you may have asked for help.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that one person who maybe you ain't even know them. But they had the heart to be able to reach out and help.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody has a story. Everybody has a story of what they have experienced. And, when we're in the midst of our storms, or maybe the people around you that you think will have your back without judgment,
Mm-hmm.
they don't show up.
Or there's strings attached.
In
order for you to get this help, they want this. Or even if they don't say it's strings attached, it's in the attitude, or it's in the energy, or it's in the in-between things.
But there are those people, and there are those times where they see you, they see the need, and they open their heart, period. And those moments, even when I am just a witness, either a witness to someone sharing their story or a witness to see it happen, I feel so blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's love. That is the Most High moving through the space.
Mm-hmm.
And as many people as we can say are just cold and they've lost their humanity, those ones that haven't, those ones that care, those ones that see you in that moment, and maybe they just put an arm around you and tell you it's going to be all right, you got this.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones make up for all of the ones
that turn their backs or their heads.
Yeah, and pretend that they don't see you.
Mm-hmm.
Or they didn't have something to do with what's happening.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when people still carry the love of life.
Yeah. And it's confirmation. When I think about some of the people that I follow, Darius Cooks and Chanel Walker, I've watched, like, for instance, Chanel, since before she hit some of her highest moments yet. She's still got so many more to come. But looking at her and watching her journey and how she's had to move through and the kind of spirit that she's had to move with, it literally has been, I'm not religious, but it has literally been like church. And it's been confirming for me just watching her move through her life and her highs and her lows. Or, Darius talking about his highs and his lows and what he's been through and his experiences, and looking at even through those struggles, right? People, you get to still choose who you're going to be and how you're going to show up. And sometimes people go through things that, it don't really even make sense, because of who those people are. But sometimes I think that they go through the things that they go through because there is a spirit of life that they're meant to share, a confirmation of life that they're meant to give to the people who are going to be watching them, whether they know that those people are watching them or not, whether they realize the impact that they have on their life. And so when I watch them, it's confirming for me. It's confirming for, those spaces where I may feel like I'm at my low, or even if I'm at my high. It is confirming of the life and love that still flows thrivingly, and it's not even that it always, that is a lot of people. Like you said, sometimes it's that one person. Me and my family have been going through some things more recently, and I reached out to a whole bunch of people, and one person who has always held a mama place in my heart, and she was the one person who responded, no questions asked, nothing, and she helped, and it made every bit of difference. She don't even know how big of a space she took up and filled.
Love is life. And love is the only thing that really is real.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it is so affirming. It's so encouraging when I see people sharing their hearts, because I know, when people come into my space and I can help them, I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have strings attached to it. And so when you see people who don't do that, it can be disappointing. It can be disappointing, for me, a disappointment in humanity.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look for those who still have love in their heart, those soul people who still have love, it is so meaningful to me. I remember when Auntie Nana Wu was still in her physical body, and we had a conversation, and I was saying, it's not many of us here. It's a whole lot of bodies walking around that talk and do stuff, but there aren't many of us here.
Mm-hmm.
Those that still love. those that give, whether they're known or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very encouraging to me when I hear people's stories and I see their hearts. It is, it brings me joy, really. I know it sounds corny, but it brings me joy because there is never a space that you walk through when you're in the midst of a storm where you are alone,
I'm gonna say alone. Yeah.
even if you think that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just that you're looking for that support from what is familiar, and what is familiar may not be any good for you. You know, sometimes you have to broaden your view. You have to open your heart because it may be that stranger that has that word for you that will change your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just thinking I'm gonna give her a nickname only because I don't know that she really would want her name out there. But I'm gonna call her Mama Love because her name means love. But so you know, the day that I reached out to her, I was literally in a space of feeling, in many ways, really defeated. And I got quiet. And I was trying to figure out what my direction was going to be. And I had not thought to reach out to her for that, and for that particular assistance. And something was like, reach out. I didn't know I didn't know what the answer was going to be. But I followed that, And out of all the people I'm connected with, it was like, reach out to her. And the confirmation of her willingness and of her heart, it confirmed what I had already been told, that things were going to be just fine. We were going to be good. Everything was going to work out. But the confirmation, sometimes when you're at your lowest, it is, we talked in that, in the last video we did about, sometimes it's the small things, it could be the butterfly that flies by, the bird that flies by, whatever. And it confirms for you what you need. It becomes, when you get really present in that moment, when you're forced to be really present in that moment in some ways, you start to really pay attention to the things that seem like small things, right? They're not small things, but they can seem to be small things because when you're not present, you can miss them so easily. But it's like that confirmation just solidified for me that what was promised is promised, and I think about, just my life in general. And I think previously I would have explained my life as an unexplainable uphill journey. But after listening to Darius Cooks, actually, and him explaining his life, I kind of have a new, I guess, understanding of it. Sometimes you go through unexplainable things. You can go through things that you just don't understand. But on the other side of that, when you can hold your integrity with yourself, with love, upholding those values that support life, what's on the other side of that, the blessings that come, are just as unexplainable and understandable at the same time. But it requires you to trust in your journey and in whatever source is, whatever your connection is, so that you can move through. And it really causes you to connect to that same aspect of love, you know.
Yeah, as I'm hearing you talk, it makes me think of, because I saw a lot of interesting things transpiring today on the Seven of Diamonds Day. I swear,
My day.
there was so much revealed, and just observing, how spirit will sometimes move you out of the way, and you don't quite understand why, and then, oh, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. We make the mistake of thinking that people who are, I don't know, maybe they hold themselves out, maybe they've taken on the assignment from spirit of being a teacher, of being a healer, of being one who, working for the universe, working for the spirit, assists people. And sometimes people have a perception that you're not supposed to go through anything. If you talking to me, and you teaching, or you're healing, or you're doing whatever, you're not supposed to go through anything, because you're supposed to be
Love and light.
something other than what they see themselves as.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who holds that position, where they are a service to humanity, a service to people, that allows people to hold that vision of them without addressing it. They get the side eye from me, because we all go through things. We all have stories. And what is it that you do with your story is what really makes the difference. Your heart is what makes the difference. And it's amazing to me how, because of our ideas about what things should be or what they should look like, we can cut ourselves off from the assistance that's there. It reminds me of the story about the guy in the boat, and I think his boat was sinking. And he's praying to God, oh God, help me, send some help. And the first sight of someone comes, and they don't look like what he's anticipating God is going to send for him. And he's like, no, I don't need you. I need what God has for me. So he sends them on his way, and, he gets two other people who want to assist. And because it doesn't look like, they don't look like what he thinks it should look like, he sends them on his way, sends them on their way. And, I don't remember the rest of the story, so I'm going to add my own ending to it. His boat sinks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, why? Why have you forsaken me? No, I didn't. I said the first one you said it was, it didn't meet your standards. We have times in our lives where either because of pride or because of fear or whatever it is, we're not open. Our hearts are not open to see the blessing, even in the midst of whatever storm we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And that becomes our lesson. We end up suffering unnecessarily. We end up being disheartened unnecessarily because we didn't believe in love.
Mm. Yeah. I like that.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we didn't believe in it. Because we couldn't hold it in our hearts. We couldn't see it anywhere.
Yeah. Something came to mind that's a little bit further along and just in terms of the process. But today I was talking to a friend of mine, and I had been in the midst of all this, I've been having a lot of back pain, and and today I just woke up and my body was achy, like it was really, really bad. And got to talking to this friend, and they were like, you know, basically you holding on to some energies and some spirits that you need to let go of. And prior to now, and all this is kind of, I got the message that, I needed to do something with a bath and all that. And this is all during this last month where it seems like we have been put in this position to stand our ground on our faith and our love and trust. Just move with unwavering faith. And at first, I was like, what? What do you mean? I got freaked out, and I wasn't sure. It's like, okay, well, okay. And I went to check with my people, and I'm like, this, that, and a third. And, I realized that once again, this person was showing me and sharing with me unconditional love, because the message that they brought so much relief. It brought so much clarity, and it confirmed for me my choice and direction. So I listened and I did my bath and I took my bath and then I slept for about 4 hours because I was worn out after that bath. I had to release and I had to rebuke some spirits that I was still holding on to. And after I got up from that nap, now granted, even after the nap, I felt worn out. I wasn't sleepy, but my body was worn out.
They was fighting.
Yeah. And I don't even know if they were. I think at that point, it was just my body having had done so much work.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I needed to sleep after I took the bath. And I know that that energy is clearing out. But, it gave clarity to the fact that all this is not happening because I did something wrong. And sometimes we believe that the things that are happening in our lives that are challenging or are uncomfortable or because we didn't do something right. But I needed to be moved out of the place that I was in. I needed to be put in an uncomfortable position so the things that weren't right in my life could get uncomfortable so that I could see them. And it was a blessing. It was so much love that I received in that message, because they didn't have to share, what they got, but they did. And what they did, I already know, because I can already feel it, has changed so many experiences that may have been laid out had I not gotten that, had I not understood that today was the day. It was the day to release. And love has many faces, and there are a lot of faces that try to pretend like it's love. But real love will always confirm the love in you and the love available to you. And I think that's one of the most beautiful lessons that I've learned during this entire process, and an experience that for many people, I've heard many people say that these kind of experiences have broken them. And I feel stronger in myself and in my life and in my faith than I've ever felt in my entire life.
Yeah, you said something key that I think is important to understand. You said that there were spirits that you were holding on to.
Mm.
And a lot of times we are going through things and moving through things because we are holding on to something.
Mm.
And sometimes it's difficult to be clear about, well, what am I holding on to? And sometimes we don't understand that in our desire to make it right, in our desire, or in our in the fact that we feel responsible for something or someone, or maybe we're holding guilt about how something happened. Maybe we blame ourselves. Maybe we're still holding anger and hurt. All of these emotions keep us tied to that thing, that relationship, that time. That is how we end up holding on to these spirits, the spirit of depression, the spirit of anger. That's how we, the spirit of suffering.
Mm-hmm.
These are entities. These are beings that feed off of you. If anyone was in the church or any kind of religious thing, and you hear them talk about the spirit of this, the spirit of that, and we kind of brush it off, we don't really get it. These are entities that attach to us. And sometimes they attach to us through people, through relationships, and we hold on to them. Even if the faces change, we just exchange it for another who will bring us those same experiences, and we're holding on to it because we're still holding on to the pain. We're still holding on to what happened. We're still holding on to the anger. What did I do? Maybe I could have done this. That is how we carry those things with us. And so it is a beautiful thing to get the clarity to say, wait a minute. I'm still allowing myself to be attached to that, meaning I'm giving them a place to call home, these entities or these spirits. And so, like you said, you did a bath. Well, it wasn't just the bath, it was the clarity and the intention.
Yeah, the acknowledgement.
The acknowledgement. Oh, I see you, but you about to go. Because I'm not going to continue to carry you anymore.
I'm not going to allow you to feed anymore.
I'm not going to allow you to feed anymore.
Love is a beautiful thing, but it also is a tasty thing. Yeah.
You know? And then that goes back to that saying, forgiveness is for you, not the other person. We have a lot of cliches that we say, and a lot of times people just repeat them, but they don't always understand what they're saying.
Yeah, and how to really apply it.
And how to apply it. I'm forgiving you so that I can release the pain, the fear, whatever it was. I can release that, and thereby I can release that attachment of that spirit, and you can go with it.
I release to breathe, to live. I think a couple days ago, prior to doing this work, actually, I think it was the day right before your birthday, actually. And I was standing outside doing my morning ritual of saying good morning to the day. And I felt all this excitement and all this joy, but I felt something in my stomach, like this big ball of energy that was like coming up, and it felt intense. And I didn't really know what it was, and then spoke to my friend this morning. And afterwards, immediately, or not even afterwards, actually, it was in the midst of the conversation. And afterwards, I felt so sick. I felt like something was just heavy over me. And it got to the point where I was so nauseous, I thought at any point I'd throw up. And that for me was confirmation that them things was ready to go. I was ready for them to go, more importantly.
Yeah.
And, I read almost the whole book of Psalms in my bath, and I called a shoe forward, and I made no room for anything, not even myself, not even the parts of myself that was like, but what if, or but what if it gets crazy? What if it, and I had to realize what's gonna get crazy is if you don't.
Yeah, sometimes we're afraid to do something new because we don't know what it is.
And what's on the other side?
I don't know what that is if I go over there. I ain't never seen it before. I ain't never been over there before. I don't know. But I can guarantee you that where you are is not good.
So whatever is on that other side is going to be better for you.
Exactly.
And that's self-love on a whole nother level, because, I've been doing healing work for a long time. And when I say healing work, I mean healing work on myself. I've done it for other people or provided space. I'm not even going to claim that I've done it for them. They do their healing work. I provide the space. But I've been doing a lot of healing work on myself for a very long time. And sometimes you think, okay, I did it, I'm done. Right? But you're never done, right? There's always ways that you can grow and shift and transform and transmute yourself. But
and as long as you're in relationship with others,
there's always growth.
Yeah.
And I had to realize that in this particular moment, it was okay for me not to have known or not to have realized what I realized today. You have to kind of, you got to leave room for yourself and give grace and forgiveness so that you can move through the space and allow yourself to let go. Because sometimes it's our inability to forgive ourselves and to give ourselves grace that keeps those spirits attached.
The Fool. It made me think, no, not the Fool. The Hangman in the tarot deck. He can pass through into a new space if he can just get out of his own way. And sometimes that place where you keep getting caught at
is you.
Is you.
Is your own foot on the branch.
Yes.
Yeah, so today was it was a really, really beautiful day because I received love, I gave love, I witnessed love, I was and have been being shown life, and this experience has changed me so much that the people that I could at one point, right before, let's say the day before this all started, I could have found room for, even in just simple conversation, there is no room for it anymore. And I am grateful. I'm grateful because it took something to get here, and a lot of people may look at you, whatever your situation is, especially if you're going through a difficult time, and they want to judge what it is based off of what they see.
But they don't know.
They have no idea. They have no idea. They have no idea the anointing and the blessing that is over you. And that maybe you're in this position because it's something greater within yourself you were meant to see, but also it's something that you're giving, and sometimes you don't even realize what it is that you're giving. I know that even in this experience, it's people that have seen me, and I don't even realize it, and I'm giving them so much. Like there's a lady who has been providing dinner for the people who are staying in the hotel that we're in. And she lost her husband in December. And though I feel more than I know, that she's working the job that she's working so that she can keep herself busy and, just kind of distract herself from being in this new space where it's her, and trying to find herself in this new world of hers. And though she doesn't even realize the blessing that she had been to me and my family, I didn't realize the blessing that we had been to her until she went to hug my son and realized that, you never know, and you don't even have to have conversation about what's going on. It is your spirit. It is the energy of love that transfers over.
Absolutely.
And in your journey, you may think you're going through something, but you have no idea the people you are giving love to and what they're going through. And maybe you were put in that dark position, that shadow space, that underworld, or that dark world, because there's somebody there that needs you, and maybe they need you more than you really believe you need them. So, I'm learning to allow myself to be of service, to love.
Even when you don't think you have it to give.
Right? I think in the last month, I have genuinely helped more people while at the same time feeling like I needed the same help. And I have found space where I didn't even know space was to hold for other people. And like words can't even describe the gratitude or the blessing. Like the blessing doesn't even really cover it. It's something different.
Yeah.
It's something different.
I don't know. I get a loss for words when I think about how divine things are. even in the midst of a storm, we are loved so much. And I think about my ancestors, my people. They're not in bodies, but they're very much alive.
Mm-hmm.
And they stand with me. They stand with us. And they've got us.
Mm-hmm.
We have to open our hearts to them because they can't intervene if we're not willing to hear them, if we're not willing to
Surrender.
This is such a beautiful creation. I'm not speaking necessarily of the world and the matrix and the stupid human tricks that that we see play out. But the way things come together in such perfection and such love, when hearts meet, when people are willing to share, I am in total gratitude to have the eyes to see it
And the heart to feel it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, I am not religious, but I can't help but say it in this way. And just kind of giving some more thought to what I had said. Sometimes you are placed in positions because of who you are. And it may not seem like that because of the surroundings, because of the circumstances. But maybe the service, the love, the righteousness, the light that you were meant to bring into a space, you might not bring it if you weren't in that particular position. You might not understand certain things that would allow you to bring those things forward. I'm going to say present. And when you are in a space where you are willing to surrender to spirit, you're willing to surrender to love, the works that move through you are nothing short of godly. And sometimes we can get caught up in what it looks like on the outside. And we miss the blessings and the angels and the magic that is actually happening right there in front of us, coming through others, coming through us. Sometimes we miss it. And you can find yourself getting lost in the suffering. You can find yourself getting lost in the challenge. But when you can surrender, your blessings surrender to you. And the divine service that you were meant to bring forward through your own experiences, they have the ability then to do the work of changing lives. Even simply just by your presence. Because again, I've been shown that it doesn't even require the sharing of words. It could be the smile that was sincere. It could be the fact that you showed up. It becomes the little things that matter the absolute most. But that surrenderance and that forgiveness and that unwavering faith, those are the things that will really make the difference between it being true suffering and it being you on your mission. And there's a difference.
You just have to breathe on that, man.
Yeah.
You know, these are the keys that open doors that people who would judge based on what it may look like on the outside. These are the keys that they miss. And when they see you the next time and the situation is different and you're still shining, and so is your situation, they don't understand. They don't have a clue as to how you went from here to there in what seems like a very short time. They didn't get the keys. They didn't hear your mission. They didn't hear your assignment.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't see you allowing that work to be done within. They didn't see you get cracked open, so that you could be renewed. They missed that part. They were so busy judging about what they thought it looked like and who said what. They didn't see it. It wasn't for them. It was for you. It's for me.
Mm-hmm.
And quite honestly, if they didn't have the heart to be there, to love, then they probably weren't worthy of those keys
To begin with.
It's not the easiness or the ease that teaches us, the most important lessons. It's those things that challenge us, that refine us, that polish us. Those things aren't easy. You know what I'm saying? Those things that refine you, that polish you, it takes something to polish something up.
Mm-hmm.
It takes something to refine it. That's not always going to be pleasant. It's not always going to be easy. But those experiences are those things that open doors that no one can see but you.
Unwavering faith. That was a term I grew very attached to a few years back in a group I was in. And it stuck with me. Having unwavering faith. And it doesn't mean that sometimes you don't forget, because I forget sometimes too, but unwavering faith will take you places that mere mortals could never walk. And I'm grateful.